DEMON170, the best V8 Mopar ever produced. Let's talk about it. What is going on YouTube? I am back with another video, and today is part one of a 4-part series where we're ultimately gonna crown the best American-made V8 that has ever been produced from 2015 to the current day. Today, we're gonna be talking about Mopar V8s and everything from 2015 to current. Yes, that is including the basic Hellcat all the way down to your DEMON170, and then as of late, your 2027 SRT TRX. So, before anything, make sure you like, comment, subscribe. It helps the channel tremendously, especially since I'm dropping a video every single day for the rest of 2026. So make sure you tune in, and let's get right to grading the Mopars that have dropped since 2015. Let me start by saying this. We are going to be grading them based off these 5 things: looks, sound, price from the dealership, the modability, if that's even a word, and then of course performance from the factory. We're going to be grading them on a scale of S tier all the way from A to F. F meaning obviously failure, what you used to get in high school. All right, and of course we're going to be talking about Chargers, Challengers, Jeeps, and different trucks that they've released. So, this may be biased, but we're going to start with the Challenger. Yes, the best vehicle Mopar Dodge has made since 2015. The new body style Challenger, yes, including the wide body. I'm a little biased, but I have my reasons. They have the most variety. The Super Stock, Demon, DEMON170, all of those cars were made in Challenger form. Yes, I get 4-door versus 2-door, all the things that I've heard before, but they wouldn't make all these varieties of the Challenger if it wasn't superior to your Charger. So again, we're going to be grading them based off this scale here, and then of course putting them on the scale over there. So in 2015, they came out with a Hellcat Charger and Challenger, your base supercharged V8 that changed the car world. It's what everybody bases their numbers off of, and bases off, I can be the Hellcat, right? Change the world. So of course you have a Charger and a Challenger Hellcat, 707 wheel horsepower from factory. And then of course looks, for me, Challengers look way better than a Charger, but overall your base model Challenger and Charger, non-wide body, I'm gonna give 4 out of 5 for both models. And I'm gonna put both models up on the grading scale here. They both sound insane. It was the invention of what people know as the whine today. Yes, there were superchargers long before then, but it's what everybody knows. It is the loudest whine from factory that you can get. So sound, I'm gonna give 5 out of 5. Price, I'm gonna give 3 out of 5. It is a supercharged V8. They're gonna range anywhere from 60 to 100 grand. Some even more than that. You're talking your DEMON170s, and Demons are above 100 grand. So price can get a little crazy. Modability, if that's a word again, right? Getting 1,000 horsepower in a Hellcat is a lot easier than starting from any other platform, in my opinion. So for me, modability is gonna get 4 out of 5. And of course, performance, hear me out, because we are doing a part 4. This is one of 4 series. We're gonna be crowning the ultimate V8. Performance, I'm gonna give it 3 out of 5, because these are strictly either donut cars or drag strip cars. So, Hellcats, because they started everything, I'm gonna put the Charger and Challenger Hellcat in the A tier. So we're gonna get rid of both. Then what did Dodge do? They upped the horsepower, they upped the ante. They went to a red eye for both the Challenger and the Charger. This is where Charger ended up going wide body red eye. This is where Challengers ended up going wide body Challengers with 797 horsepower. Now, that is just a little bit more power, almost 800 horses from factory. So when you talk about what I just graded, they're about the same, but now performance is 5 out of 5 for me. The reason I say that is the most amount of horsepower you could get at the time for the money anywhere. But it was still very expensive. You're talking 80 to 100 grand. So for me, the red eyes are gonna be a B tier car. hate me or love me, it is what it is. And then what did they do again? They raised the ante even more. And in 2023, they came out with the jailbreak Hellcats with 807 horsepower, new badging, no new body style or anything, but they just added more horsepower. So this is where I start to fall off on the grading scale of the best V8, is because this started everything. The Red Eyes gave it that next level up, and then jailbreak came out, and it was almost like, here, spend a little bit more money to get 10 to 20 extra horsepower. So for me, I'm gonna put the jailbreaks in the B category as well. Looks, they didn't come out with any crazy looks or any more packages on the outer half, decals and stuff like that. They added the Red Eye, they added the red Hellcat badge from factory, a couple other things like that. But for me, it didn't do anything more than what the Red Eye did. So your jailbreaks are gonna be a B tier. People are gonna hate me because yes, I'm a Mopar guy, but I gotta be real when it comes to the grading scale here. Now, this is where they started differentiating Challengers to Chargers for me. They upped the ante again, and they made a super stock. After the Demon, super stock was only made 1 year, just like the Dodge Demon, just like the Demon170. So your super stock was a Hellcat wide body with leftover Demon parts. You had Demon wheels, Demon suspension, Demon trans, etc. And what they did was gave that super stock 808 horsepower from factory on a set of drag radials from factory. So for looks, due to the Demon wheels and the drag wheels, right, I'm gonna give it a 4 out of 5. Sound, of course, the whine, 4 out of 5, insane sound. Price, my guy Joe Myers had to spend $103K on his super stock for 800 horsepower from the dealership. So I'm gonna give it a 3 out of 5. Modability, hear me out. Your super stock might be the best bang for your buck to get way over 1,000 horsepower. My guy Joe Myers, super stock, 1,100 horsepower to the wheel and getting more. For 100K, say modability, 4 out of 5. And their performance, that super stock is a straight line car and straight line car only, so I'm gonna say 3 out of 5. But it's going right here in the B tier once again. Only because, hear me out. To me, it was leftover Demon parts, and that's what kills it. But we'll get to the next piece here. Your Dodge Demon, your 2018 9-second from factory Challenger. Again, another change in the world of drag racing and production supercharged cars. It was the next level and next thing that everybody was chasing after to be from a stock performance car. So for me, the Demon came wide body all the way around with a Demon crate. So looks for me was a 5 out of 5. The sound, 4 out of 5. Price, this is what's gonna hit it. It was limited, so I understand. So I'm gonna give it a little asterisk here. Give it a 3 out of 5 for price, because still, for an 840 horsepower car from factory is insane. Modability, shout out Demonology. Demonology was one of the first when it came to modding the Demon, taking it to the track and really using it for what it was used for. So modability, 5 out of 5. And their performance for what it was used for, 5 out of 5. The Demon, because it was the first of its kind, is going S tier. Because still to this day, almost getting to a 10-year-old car. It's still sought after, it still holds its value. You turn your head when you see one, and it's rare. Dodge Demon changed, just like the Hellcat, just went upper echelon for Mopar V8s. Then came the Demon170, your first 1,000 horsepower factory produced Challenger or vehicle ever. What more can I say? Carbon fiber wheels, wide body in the rear for the fat tires, no wide body in the front for the skinny so it wouldn't look so off. E85 capable from factory. What more can I say? S tier. And now we get back into everyday cars you see on the street, and this might surprise you. You have your RT and Scat Packs, and RT and Scat Packs for both Chargers and Challengers. This was the everyday person's dream car because they wanted to go fast. People didn't understand around the times these really dropped in 2015. This was one of the best and fastest cars. People used to not bat an eye at 1,000 horsepower. People do not bat an eye now, but back then 485 and above from a factory produced car was quick. So my RT Hemi looks, this was before wide bodies, give it a 3 out of 5. Scat Packs. The B was iconic. Everybody had a B on the side of their car. Looks, I'm gonna give a 4 out of 5. Sound for your RT Hemi, 2 out of 5. I hate some of those RTs and how they sound. Again, I didn't own one. I've owned every make so far from Mopar. But I'm gonna give 2. Scat Pack, 3 out of 5. Modability, Scat Pack, 1 out of 5. I had one, don't judge me. Cost too much to go fast. 392 is already expanded out as much as you can. Doesn't handle boost well, and there's probably people in the comments like, yes it does, yes it does. And you gotta spend a little bit of money to go fast with those. RT Hemi handles modability a little bit more, so I'm gonna give it a 3 out of 5. And then performance, 2 out of 5. They didn't change much, they just gave somebody who couldn't afford a Hellcat a car, without saying that in a bad way. So your RT Hemi and Scat Pack are gonna be at the C tier. And that gets rid of your Chargers and Challengers, V8s from factory, and then we're gonna get into your Jeeps and trucks. Let's start off by getting these trucks out of the way. First of all, I think the TRX is a great platform. I think a supercharged V8 and truck is crazy, but in reality for me, I would never buy one. I don't think it's worth the 80 to 100 grand just to have a supercharged truck, because ideally for me, I want a 250 to a 450 to use a truck for what a truck is used for. So without further ado, your looks, you kind of have to mod them to make them look good from factory. I like the beadlock setup, all 4 wheels, and then the blackout package. Other than that, it's not the best looking truck, so 3 out of 5. Sound, you have the whine, so 4 out of 5. Price, 2 out of 5. You can get a lot more truck for 100 grand. Modability, at the end of the day, it's a truck, so you can lift it, tires, wheels, and of course the Mopar engine, 6.2 Hellcat supercharged V8. So I'm gonna still give it a 3 out of 5, but for performance, I'm gonna give it a 2 out of 5, because it's just a truck. You can't really do much with it. C tier. And then what's left to be seen is this new SRT TRX 2026-2027. I'm waiting to see it, so can I grade it? Not really, but you need to know this is something that's coming in the near future. So we're not gonna grade it, but just know if you haven't watched that video, check it out on my channel. And here's where I believe one is gonna sneak up on us, our Jeeps. You have your SRT 392, you have your 5.7 Hemi Jeep, and your Trackhawk. Your SRT 392 is again your 6.4 liter Hemi put in a Jeep with all different styles from 2015 to current. For me, it wasn't shifting, it was just motors that they would put in other cars to get people out of other Jeeps. They're like, I want a fast Jeep. I think looks wise, the Jeep looks crazy. I like how the Jeep, you don't know what it is unless you know. So for me, looks wise, it was still a 3 out of 5. Performance, it was just a loud, quick Jeep, 3 out of 5. Sound, your 6.4 did sound good, 3 out of 5. But modability with it being a 392 was fairly low, 2 out of 5, outside of the accessories that you could do. So for me, your SRT 392 was a C-tier car. Now let's talk about everybody's favorite car right now, your Trackhawk. Supercharged V8, 6.2 Hellcat motor, inside of your Jeep. It is now one of the most sought after cars. It holds its value. It sounds crazy. The aftermarket aesthetic mods are insane. So overall, you're gonna hate me. It is going A tier, you guys. It is going A tier. It's going A tier because it was the first supercharged truck from factory that I at least know of from the 2015 to current time frame, outside of maybe an Audi truck. I'm not 100% sure. A lot of them started using turbos, but in my opinion, I think it's worth everyone having in their collection. And you're starting to see even BMW guys and some of these guys that have Lambos and supercars still keeping a Trackhawk in their collection. Again, it holds value, it looks good, people know what it is when it flies by, and if you don't know what it is, you're gonna hear it. So Trackhawk, A tier, changed the game for Jeeps. And then lastly, your 5.7 Hemi, your starter Hemi for any of these makes and models. The Jeep isn't my favorite looking car, so when it puts your 5.7 area pretty low, I'm bringing a D tier. So now you guys have seen what I have ranked all Mopar V8s 2015 to current. Let me know what you agree with and what you don't. I think the Demon and the Demon170 changed the game. And again, I had to grade based on this one, a 4-part series. So I can't wait for you guys to see the rest. And of course, we will crown a full American best V8 production car based off what goes in the S tier. Tune in tomorrow for Chevy, and the next day Ford, and then the 4th video will be the overall based on who gets in the S tier, who brings home the championship. Will it be Mopar? Who knows? Let's go.